I learned so much from the first time to now of this year of getting it. And I know so much more about my business, how to really have it and not struggle with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part of entrepreneurship that needs to be talked about more, because that was a big goal for me, having something I truly desire, truly wanted. I didn't get it because nobody else. I got it because I want it.
Welcome to Entrepreneurhood, where we break entrepreneurship down into 3 simple pillars: business, lifestyle, and motivation. Our goal is to use our personal experiences as industry leaders to guide and inspire young entrepreneurs to see the lesson in every challenge. Because we understand that companies don't succeed, people do. Now, welcome the leaders of Entrepreneurhood, Lakim and KB.
Welcome to the neighborhood. You got your boy Lakim in the building, and I got my brother KB in the building with me. We on episode 59, and we decided to call this one Small Goals versus Big Goals. Right? So KB and I, before we jump into the episode and we tell you guys why we decided to choose this topic, KB and I, we have a segment called W's and L's, right? Wins and lessons. So KB is going to start off by letting us know if he got a W or an L for the week. And he's been like up and down with the wins and the losses. So KB, what's the week looking like? You got a W or you got an L?
I got some L's, but I have more W's.
All right, so what it look like?
My W for this week is definitely getting approved for my own business funding for my new LLC. So yeah, it was a big W because I got denied by both banks prior, twice.
What, your credit was bad or like what?
My increase is just hot. I was just applying everywhere. But yeah, it felt good because, getting approved always better than getting rejected.
Yeah.
I'm not used to getting rejected.
But you got rejected. No, never mind. Go ahead.
But my plan is to, my $16,000 card is use that as leverage and do a balance transfer, because after the introductory period, the interest rate, it goes up to basically whatever the market rate is. So some of them are like 29, 30%, which is outrageous. Because the market is up. So I could transfer that debt over and then I could pay off my cards even much faster. So instead of me paying $300 or $400 interest, it can actually go to the principal now.
Wow. That's actually really smart. So just being able to pay less interest, pay more towards the principal.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like, I really know my clients feel like to get something in the mail. Got the new business, new LLC on there. It just feels great. I gotta activate them and make those transfers. So what you do?
Yeah, bro. No, and I think that's super, super solid. So and that's the beauty in entrepreneurhood, right? As long as the W's outweigh the L's, then it's a W for the week, So for myself, bro, yeah, I'm definitely feeling good with the W's, right? I think this is 2 or 3 weeks in a row having a W.
I think it's 2.
It feels like 3 though. But so what's my W for the week? My W for the week is my value ladder is working at full capacity, right? A couple episodes ago, I was sharing that I was struggling with leads. But what I decided to do was I wanted to create a free offer that's so good, people feel stupid saying no. And that's what I recommend to everybody. And I made my free offer so good that not only am I solving a problem that I know people would pay me for, but because I service them at such a high level that once I give them the free offer, they're like, yo, Lakim, I love this. Is it okay if I share this with someone that I know that could benefit from this as well? Last week, I think I got 3 or 4 new leads. This week, today's Wednesday, and I already have 4 new leads for this week, all from word of mouth. So for me, that's a big W because it's showing me proof that having a free offer that's desirable will continue to bring in new customers week over week.
No, that's powerful, bro. And, that's just organic. My question to you, do you tell people if you don't take this, then you're stupid?
So I think it, right? And I don't say it out loud, but what's cool too, bro, is even with the free offer, what I'm even doing is like there's a follow-up process that needs to happen, right? So if they don't meet the deadline by when I tell them it's due, then it turns from a free offer to now your free offer expired. So now I could do it, but now you got to pay, right?
Mm.
And what that does is it incentivizes them to get it done in a timely manner, because a lot of it is, me guiding them through a step by step of what they need to do, but they won't value it, right, if there's no deadline. So it's that accountability aspect and that fear of, if you don't do it by the deadline, now you have to pay me. And they're going to pay me eventually anyway, but I think it's just a nice little twist that I added to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was talking to somebody about the other day is that if you have something free and there's of value, you gotta have some type of wall of scarcity, build some scarcity and FOMO, fear of missing out, because people just think anytime you can do it. So I always tell people, it's like your course is, how much it costs to sit down with you and go over my credit card? I'm like, the first one is on me. After that, you pay. Like
Yeah, bro. And that, I love that aspect. And that epiphany hit me this week. I'm like, yo, what I need to do is I need to add that sense of urgency or that fear of missing out of like, if you don't capitalize on when it's free, you're gonna have to pay me for it.
that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I definitely started using asking people for referrals during my calls, my strategy calls. And it's been working. And if it's not 3 people, it's usually like 1. I didn't even ask for 3. I'm gonna start asking for 3.
Yeah.
But I've been getting, new leads on the call. So I've been listening to entrepreneurhood myself.
Yeah, and bro, and anyone who's listening, that's what we always encourage is like, yo, take the gems we saying, we implement the things we talk about. There's so many things you've said in the episode that I'm like, yo, I got to implement that into my business this week. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty in what we do. So, bro, let's jump into the episode, bro. So we decided to call this episode Small Goals versus Big Goals, right? And that sounds very elementary. So we need you to explain to the community why we decided to choose this topic.
Well, one, I like elementary. Elementary was fun. I learned But small goals versus big goals. The main reason we chose this topic is to get entrepreneurs to understand that don't be discouraged if you do set big goals, and don't think you're too big to set small goals to keep the journey going. And I think that's always a hard dynamic to figure out, like, yo, you know what, maybe this might be too small, I should be shooting for more, or you shoot for more, you don't get it, now you're discouraged, now you don't want to do anything. So I think it plays a big role in the type of person that you are and how you look at yourself and how you look at, what the journey is going to be, because there's always going to be a time you're going to fall short, and it's always going to be a time when you're actually going to hit it. But the only time you truly do get upset is when it doesn't happen during your own timing.
Dang, bro, that is so true, right? Because what we said, and I think I said this in one of our first, 10 or 15 episodes, is the biggest issue with people when it comes to setting goals is that we overestimate what we could do in a year, but we underestimate what we could get done in a decade. So all that really means, KB, is that like when we set a target, like within a 12-month period, we feel like, we feel unstoppable. We feel like the Hulk, like we could do whatever we put our mind to, but then we don't factor in all of the uncontrollables that will happen within that period, right? And sometimes when we set these big aggressive goals within a short time period, we don't play the long game, right? And when you play the short game, that's when your expectations are not set, and that's what leads to disappointment.
Yeah, I think it refrains people, it has people refrain from publicly displaying their goals as well. So it's like, yo, what you're not going, oh, I can't speak on it yet. It's like, well, damn, do you believe it's gonna happen?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, if I don't happen on time, I don't want you to play me, or I don't want people to know. I'd rather just pop out, with the win. I don't know. I really don't dig that too much because there's no accountability there.
Mm-hmm.
Why you want to win in secret? And if you don't happen when you wanted to, doesn't mean you're never gonna get it. So I just never been those people like, nah, I'm telling, my inner circle or even publicly on the gram, I'll say, yo, what I'm trying to do. And if it doesn't happen, then I learned something from it. It's not a loss.
Nah, bro, and I think that part right there is so important. And the more people, you share your goals with, right? The more people that know what you're going after, the higher your chances of actually accomplishing it. And I feel like people look at it backwards. They tend to try to keep their goals a secret because they're like, hey, if I keep this goal to myself and I don't hit the goal, the only person that's really disappointed is myself. But once you share it and other people know, people are fearful of disappointing other people or looking foolish, if they fall short of the targets.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's the embarrassment too. It's like you worry about what someone might say about you, and it's like they're gonna talk about you regardless. So, but I think even for me, like one of my goals, my recent goals, as you mentioned, we was talking before the episode, was getting my car.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get my car for 3 years, but before I even put it out there, I wasn't even sure if I could even get a car like that. Because I remember when it first came out, because I was a Benz guy, like I was team Benz.
I'm sorry, you should have stayed, to be honest.
So I had the C class, and I'm like, yo, if I ever switch to BMW, I gotta switch for that.
And what's that? Like, what are you talking about?
That's the 8 Series.
Okay.
So this was when it first came out, and I believe it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had to really just sit there like, people say one of those goals like, yo, if I ever switch, it'll be that. And
Yeah.
you really think that happens like, yo, if I ever see such and such in public, I'll talk to it. And it's like, I got close enough where it's like, yo, I can actually do this.
Mm-hmm.
So getting the M8, it was, something I wanted to do. And once I got confident enough to put it out there, like, yo, this is what I'm gonna get. And of course, like people like, yo, why would you get that expensive car? And why would you do this? And other people like, yo, you really think you gonna get it?
You didn't believe, bro.
And I when I went to attempt to get it, it wasn't just for anybody else, it's for me. But I wanted to use it, as a business move, far as to rent it out, put it on Turo. That was the plan. So, or make enough money where I didn't even have to put it out unless I wanted to. So when it came down to it, the first time credit was good, everything was good, and they said no, we're not giving this car to you.
Hey.
There's like, we don't trust you. Yeah, we don't trust you. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, I made some more money, paid my taxes, came back again. Like, all right, I'm gonna get it now. He's like, nah.
It still dubbed you. So wait, so let's kind of, take people inside that story. So the first time you attempted to get the car was like what year? That was what, 2017?
Nah, it wasn't even that long ago. That's when I decided I wanted it.
Got you.
I believe it was 2019.
Okay.
I believe it's 2019. And they said I didn't make enough on paper.
Got you. Because you was hiding your money and not doing your taxes.
No.
Wait, so what happened?
They just said I didn't make enough to get it because at that point I didn't make enough, but my credit was good.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And then I went again and they said, you make enough, but we don't believe you.
Yeah, because the thing is you didn't have the history or something, right?
Yeah, the payment history. So being out coming from a 3 Series, to go for a 3 Series to 8 Series is like you skipping like 4 grades.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? Like I was very upset. So the third time I went to go get it, we already had a 4 Series. So it wasn't in my name though, it was in my brother's name. However, we already had a relationship with the same BMW dealership. So we're like, yo, we go in there, get what we want. So this time it was the time I put in my order, custom purple car, peanut butter inside.
Crazy.
it was, and it had white seats too. It was perfect. It's like, yo, it's about to get made, like custom for me. And when it came down to it, it was like, yo, we can't get this to you unless you turn in your 3 Series.
What?
I'm like, nah, my 3 Series is making me money. Like,
Yeah.
what's the problem? And they're like, no, it's too much car. You don't have enough payment history, and we don't trust you to make payments that big.
Wait, what was the payments like that time when you were trying to get it?
That time, I believe it was 24,
24, okay.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and then they was like, you know what? If you turn in your car, we could probably work something out. I'm like, yo, I don't want to turn my car because it literally was making me positive cash flow. Like I was paying $589 a month, and I was making about average of 2,000 a month positive cash flow on it. So I'm like, that's my money maker because it's always being rent out, and I don't want to keep driving the 4 because that was the lease. But I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna come back. So now my 3 Series lease is up, and I'm about to get it again, and this time they said, nah, we don't trust you.
Didn't he say at one point that you had to put down $25,000?
Yeah, and that was the alternative offer. It was like, all right, if you put down 27,000,
27,000.
you can get it. And I'm like, what? And I was looking at my brother. I said, yo, I'll buy another house before I put 27,000 on a car.
Car, yeah, bro.
So I was so offended. I walked out. And I didn't just walk out of like a New York dealership. I walked out of a PA dealership. I went all the way to PA to go get this car.
Wow.
And this time, this is, I fell in love with it. It's frozen Tanzanite. Then he told me it's 2 in the country. So I'm just like, I sat in it.
2 in the country?
Yeah, 2 in the country that's with this same style and model. And he, I was already sold on it because, like I said, I'm trying to get this for 3 years. So to really sit in something that it had the system that I wanted, it had, I got heated seats, I got cooling seats, armrests, everything. Like I got curtains, like
But
like I'm in a Maybach. So, I was excited and I was like, nah, this is not it. I walked out again. And then
why you keep walking out so much?
it's my car, I need it now. And I was just fed up, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not giving up because my lease is up January 5th. And after that is either I know I had a mortgage going to hit my report. So with that being said, I'm like, I have to get something, but this is what I want to get. I don't want to get in a 4 Series because I already have that.
Yeah.
And I don't want 5 Series because I don't like the way it looks. And I'm like, I'm trying to stay with Beamer. I'm not trying to go to Benz. Because if I was going to Benz, I was going to get the GT coupe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Don't start smiling, bro.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, if he came to Benz, yo, I promise you, he'd have been a happier man. But I know you cool. You smile every now and then with your BMW, but you good.
Quick backstory. Only reason I went to BMW because it gave me more for my C class. They offered me, it was a broken C class. They offered me $3,500. Benz offered me $1,000. Like, so
You've been getting disrespected a lot, bro.
So this third time, I'm like, you know what? I got to figure something out. And I realized my mortgage didn't hit my credit report yet on my personal side. So I'm like, yo, I think I could do this because I already have a relationship with the bank and I could go through the bank. I don't have to go through BMW. And when I did that, it changed everything. It changed the payment for me. It made the payment lower. Interest rate came down half. And I went back there with my cashier's check and said, give me my car. And I told him to wash it twice.
Oh, snap. You was moving different that last time.
Yeah, so that's what I really learned, the power of, being strategic, but also being patient, because I could have gave up all those other times setting this big goal, to get my dream car. And it happened at the best time. So, from paying, $2,400 down to $1,700 was a big jump. And then I didn't have to put down no $27,000.
Yeah.
I didn't have to put down anything. So I just was able to walk
Wow.
out. So good faith, because I was a little shook, because I'm like, yo, I don't know if this bank can even take this type of loan. So I offered to put 500, but it's like, yeah, you don't have to put nothing. Your credit is great.
Whoa.
So literally the day after I got my car, guess what hit my report?
The
Mortgage.
mortgage. Crazy. So it was meant to be, bro.
Yeah, it was perfect timing, man. It was perfect timing, because if it would did anything later, it wouldn't have happened at all. And that's why I'm like, yo, delayed gratification plays a role. I learned so much from the first time to now, of this year, of getting it. And I know so much more about my business, how to really have it and not struggle with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part of entrepreneurship that needs to be talked about more, because that was a big goal for me, having something I truly desire, truly wanted. I didn't get it because nobody else. I got it because I want it. And I figured, like, yo, I could deserve this. It's my retirement gift, and I got my house already, so why not? And I projected big goals for 2023. So I'm like, I ain't worried about this payment. Man, the next month.
Life started jabbing at you, bro. Uppercut, right, like left. Crazy.
Yeah, so but you gotta stay the course, man. If you want to go for something big, you gotta know what comes with it too.
Absolutely, bro. And I think that's the key, right? So what we really want to get at with just that experience is there's a lot of power in setting that big goal, right? A lot of people may have given up in the pursuit of trying to get that car, because it's like, bro, nobody's gonna attack something 3 times, get played 3 times, and have the courage to be like, nah, I still want this. So again, you're stubborn about your goals and the things that you want. And I feel like that's what most people need to be. You got to be firm and committed to, regardless of what the path may look like. Your path to getting your dream car was not a straight line. That joint took you north, south, west, every direction until you eventually got to where you was trying to go.
Yeah. And another point I forgot too, the bank that I went to go get the car loan from, the auto loan, I knew it was my better bureau. My experience was better than my TransUnion, because all those times I was going to BMW pulls TransUnion, for those who don't know. So I have all these unnecessary inquiries on my report attached to accounts that's not open. So it dropped my score. But I knew MCU, credit union, pulls experience. So my experience is, it was 750. So they're like, oh, you can get it, no problem.
Wow.
It's, I learned way more knowledge within that time frame too. That's why I'm glad it happened the way it did, because now, and then I could still write off from my business because I'm paying it from my business account, the payment. So when it comes to me getting a house, they won't even put that to my debt to income ratio, because you just got to pay your car from your business account for 12 months straight.
Got you.
And the other option where I could sell my car to my business. So it's so many different ways, but it's like I didn't know this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm happy. I got an exit plan just in case if I need to clear some debt. All right, bet. I could sell it to my business, or I could just claim that it's coming from my business account, and it's still solid. So, and I heard that from the bank himself.
I feel like that. See, that's that aspect of it, bro. I think is so necessary, because knowing what you were trying to go after, and then just figuring it out along the way is what helped you to get to where you are. So for me now, bro, there's been a lot of targets that have been small, that's been big for me. And as I was evaluating like what I wanted, that's the big thing entrepreneurs got to decide, right? Like what defines a goal as being too small or too big. It's all based on how you perceive it. So a big milestone that I was aiming for was when I transitioned more into full-time coaching. And a big thing I really wanted to do was I wanted to hit my first $10,000 month, right? And to me, that's just a sign of you're adding a lot of value, and I'm providing a service that's unique. Like, for some reason, when I do things, bro, I tend to take the untraditional routes that's like really, really difficult in the beginning. So imagine, just creating a service that it's 100% virtual and, solving a problem and getting people to pay you thousands of dollars, right? And that's like difficult. Like what you do is you help people get access to capital. Like that's a clear cut outcome, right? But for me, giving people clarity, that may take some time. Like sometimes it's hard to define what clarity is, right? So for me, yeah. So like that's a tough sale to make. But for some reason, I always tend to go after the tough, difficult sales, because what I tell myself is that if I master this, and when I master this, it's only gonna be uphill from there. So my first couple of months in coaching, I was hitting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think one of my best months I had got to 8. And then it came a slow season and it went back down, and I was at, back to 6,000 to 7,000. And then it was right in the beginning of the summertime, I want to say in June or July, I had finally, hit my first $10,000 month in coaching. Now, remind you, in my sales company, I was having $10,000 weeks, right? So for me, those kind of numbers are not unusual to me. Like I've even had $100,000 months, like in 2017, I think was when I had my first $100,000 month in running my sales company. So again, to kind of take 10 steps back to start something completely different and difficult, that takes a lot of courage, right? So what I had to do was I had to start by setting smaller goals to, prove myself in this new industry and eventually get my first, 5-figure month. And for me, that was a big, big confidence booster. However, I've been like, as soon as I got into coaching, I told myself that I was going to have my first 5-figure month. The first month, the first month I thought I was going to do it, because I think in January I had just went full-time in coaching. And in that first month in January, I think I had made like $5,000 or $6,000. So I was like, cool. February, I'm gonna, definitely hit that target. And it took from January all the way through June or July. It almost took me, 7, 8 months to accomplish it. And I think the big thing is what we talked about on the last episode. Everything is a roller coaster, bro. It's never going to be a clear path. So I share that experience to let an entrepreneur know, don't downplay your journey. Don't allow something that's taken time, or delay means denial, right? I think that's what a lot of people think. They think because something is delayed and it doesn't happen when you expect it, they think it's denial, like it's permanent. And people like KB and me, we know that if we don't get something in that particular time frame that we want to, all we got to do is just keep persevering, because it's only a matter of time until we get what we want. But I think that's what separates the people who are committed to entrepreneurship versus the people who are, dipping their toes into the water and seeing if they could jump into entrepreneurship and make a quick dollar. And that's, you try to do that with entrepreneurship, and it's going to expose you very quickly, bro.
Very. I think also too, like for people that have the big goals, you got to be careful who you say those big goals to, of course. Like everyone, should know that. However, how do people respond to you even when you don't hit those certain goals that's in your inner circle means a lot, because you value their word, you trust their word. And I think for me, what helped me is that, transparency. So, we transparent all the time about the ups, the downs, and that's the type of relationship that you want to have. So if you don't have that type of relationship with that person, then you shouldn't be sharing your goals with them.
Yep.
That's number one. And also, too, far as small goals, don't think like they will help you give that confidence. So sometimes if you say, yo, I want to, in a basketball game, yo, I just want to score 10 points, and you scored 20, that's going to give you confidence. Like, yo, I can score 20 every time.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with setting those small goals. Just know that every entrepreneur, if you're a true entrepreneur, you never want to stay there. I don't care if you made 100K this month, next month you're trying to make 150, 200.
Yeah.
That it's just in you, and it's not even agreed. It's just like, yo, I know I can do more, because we'll be tired and like, damn, yo, I could do more. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that bad. It's always the response. And as you talking, I'm listening you talk about it, I'm like, yo, why did we get discouraged by something in 6 months? Like, what is really 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, if you could go from, making mediocre 2 to 5K for the first 7, 8 months, and then the last 3 you can make the most you ever made in your life.
Yo, yeah.
Like, that's literally how this game is. If you don't think it's possible, you got to talk to more people.
That's number one. Yeah.
And I just think, like, we get so caught up in a time frame where I seen something the other day. It's like, yo, time is not really real.
Mm-hmm.
And it just had me sit there and think, like, what are we basing it off of? Because what if you get, the 100K a month in, in February, in June or October next year? What are you basing on? What is the really?
I know what's too quick or what's too slow. Yeah.
As long as you are progressing, that's what matters the most. So anytime we angry and frustrated is that when we not progressing, we just in the same cycle. That's why we got out of 9 to 5. So being that you're on your own journey, your own path, don't compare your chapter to anybody else's, because we all have our own different routes. And so it's just very interesting to me when I ask myself, like, why I'm upset. Like, if, like, even when certain goals were certain in a month, if I don't get paid, the payout the 31st, but I get it, the 2nd in the morning, what
Like, it makes no sense crying over spilt milk, bro, because it's like that in the grand scheme of things is nothing, bro. It's pebbles. It's pebbles in on the sand, So I think that's the big thing that we struggle with. And as you were speaking, I was just thinking too, is like, yo, it's the expectations. Expectations, setting the wrong expectations is what leads to a lot of unhappiness and lowering your confidence. Now, there are times like what we're saying, there are times that you should expect a lot from yourself, right? But you also got to give yourself gratitude. You got to give yourself more grace if things don't go exactly how you planned it. So for example, KB, what I'm thinking, right, is one goal that meant a lot to me that I've really been embodying and ingraining in my mind since I was 18 is I wanted to be a millionaire by my 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like that goal to me meant so much.
That was your hashtag.
Yeah, like, and for me, that was the biggest goal. And me and anybody who, really that we grew up together, they've been knowing I've been saying that. And I've had videos of me recording that when I was, 20 years old. I have these videos of me speaking into the camera saying, I'm going to be a millionaire by my 30th birthday. And 25, I felt really confident. I thought I was going to do it. I had a lot of money saved. And then there was a lot of ups and downs on the journey, bro. And then this year I turned 30 and I'm not a millionaire. And as it got closer to my birthday, my 30th birthday, I was excited. I was frustrated. I was grateful. But I didn't hit the goal. Now, should I give up on a goal like that? Absolutely not. Because when I hit this target, right? If I hit this target when I'm 31 next year or 32, does that make me a failure because I've been saying I was going to do something for 12 years and I didn't hit it within that 12-year period? And that's where most people, they stop trying if they fall short of something that they really, really want. Why do you think people do that, bro?
Because they try to feel like they feel like they're their own worst critic. Like, yo, I'm a liar, or I'm an imposter, or I'm disappointed in myself. I should, their biggest critic. And I think, you gotta be your biggest fan at that point too, because it's not really hitting the goal, it's who you become in the goal. And I think that's, it might sound very morale, but it's true. Like who you become, the things you learn, the relationships that you have built. Because if you have the money and have no relationships, what good is it?
Nothing.
If you have the money, your health is terrible. What good is it?
Pointless.
You have the money and you lose your mind. So it's like it's so many other factors involved. And I think with goal setting, especially when it's a monetary goal setting, it can be very discouraging because you go on Instagram, somebody just did 40K in a day, and you like, yo, they just started their business.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years and I'm barely making 40. So it's very easy to get discouraged, distracted, and disappointed in yourself because you're not doing what others are doing. Because when we have our success, we share it, and we're so accessible to other people's lives. So to a point where it's like, damn, like you feel like you're in competition with somebody you don't even know you.
Yeah, yeah. That's the big issue, bro. Being in competition with people that don't know you exist, or that you don't know.
Yeah. So it's really I think it's ego at the end of the day. Because I always look at them like, yo, everything I have is profit. Like I can eat. I got clothes in my bag. I sound like somebody's parent. I got a car that got gas in it. I fill my tank up all the time. Like that's a blessing compared to where the hell I was at.
Yeah.
I think that's the part where people forget that form of gratitude. And I forgot myself, where I'm like, damn, like, and I'm looking like, yo, you have a home, bro. Like you can put a hole in the wall if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like always being in different cribs, getting evicted, being on, public assistance, all of these different things. And it's like, nah, it's okay. Like I know I'm growing. Because when I went from training and getting that certain type of consistent income to say, all right, yo, God, instead of the 20, 25K months, I want 100. You're like, all right, give me the 100. I didn't get the 100 instantly. I got the 0.
Yep.
And that's to show if you truly do want it to go after what you want. And I think that, and during that space, that's when I learned. That's when I learned, like, yo, I'm actually spending too much money over here. I'm actually doing this. Because when you're so consistent in your bread, you're like, all right, I'll make it back. That's the ego entrepreneurship. Like,
yep.
I go on vacation. I just blew like 7, 10 bands. It's cool. Like, it's straight. I just transfer some money off for the check. Save it to the.
That's a dangerous game to play, bro.
Yeah, and then when you got credit, it's even more scary because it's like, yo, you got 200,000 in credit. Nah, so you swipe that, ain't gonna do nothing. And it's like add up, and then you have a bad month, and you're like, oh, damn, I'm wilding.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me smarter. Like I was paying like $300-400 in subscriptions that I was not even using.
Oh my gosh.
And these are like business apps. This is not like, just BS stuff. This is stuff that's for my business, but I wasn't using them more because I wasn't training them more. So, but I was the whole goal was like, oh, just keep making money. Just keep making money. Don't worry about the expenses. And I'm like, nah, this is a bad trait.
Yeah.
But when things started getting low, I was sure enough went through all my bank statements, went through every bank that I have. I'm like, yo, what subscription I got? Checking things off, canceling things out. Shout out to Rocket Money. Well, it's not called Rocket Money no more, I think. But I think it's called Rocket Money. Yeah, I use Rocket Money app, and it basically give you all your subscriptions, and they'll try to cancel things for you. And I found other tools so I can budget better.
Yep.
And
I got a question for you, bro. So what is a big goal that that like meant a lot to you that, I don't know, maybe you've been working for in silence or out loud, that, I don't know, you just didn't hit, and that you still are aiming for, that you something that means, like, a goal that means a lot for you, business or personally?
honestly, bro, having a family,
Mm-hmm.
like getting married, having kids, like I want that, and I know that's why I'm going so hard in my space now. Because yeah, I can have a lifestyle myself, but to take care of another person, and I know my person, the type of lifestyle she living, I need more.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, that's something I haven't hit yet, haven't conquered yet. And yeah, that's my main goal right now, is to have be more efficient with that, and also figure out ways to build the team around me so I don't have to work as hard and work smarter. So until I get my team set up, my structure set up with multiple people, I have shout out to my sister Miriam. She's a blessing. But I need to duplicate her so I have more time to myself. So yeah, starting a family is something I ain't hit yet.
And I feel like, see, and that right there always lets me know, right? So whenever someone is setting a goal and we still haven't hit that goal, what I've come to the realization is more times than not, when we fall short of a target, is we haven't become the person that we needed to be to accomplish the goal. And that's why in my championship planner, I always say goals are not meant to hit, goals are meant to grow. And like, bro, growing into that goal, like just looking at that situation, what's one of the reasons why you probably haven't hit it is because you got to keep growing more. And I feel like that's one of the toughest things for us to internalize. So when I didn't hit my goal of, hitting a million, being a millionaire by my 30th birthday, I was disappointed. But then at the same time, I'm like, nah, bro, it's beautiful, because all it means is I got to keep growing. I hit the goal of, getting married and me and my wife buying a house together. Like, that was a great goal. And similar to like what you said, the next goal is we want to start a family as well. But all it is we just got to keep growing. And I think it's beautiful when we fall short, or when anyone falls short of a target. As long as you still have health, you still have the ability to go after it. The beautiful thing is you have time. And if you have time to get better and be a better version of yourself, when you reach that destination, you're going to feel way more fulfilled. You're going to be like, yo, I earned this. I deserve to be here. And no one could take that away from you, bro, because you getting to a point of starting a family, that just means, you're getting more time to learn more about you, how you want to be as a father, as a husband. And when you hit that milestone, you're going to be so prepared for it, because you didn't hit it 3, 4, 5 years ago, because you had more growing to do.
Yeah, even when you ask me that, it's very real and authentic, because I didn't plan it. I wanted to get married at 23. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready emotionally. And I think I'm glad the finances didn't come first, because that would have just made me just another controlling, egotistical man, where it's like, all right, I got the money, controlling, how you going to do everything I say, or this is how it should be done. This is what I did to get this X, Y, and Z. And I think over the last 3 years, the transition of learning myself, dealing with my traumas, dealing with my triggers, allowed me to be in a better space personally, that made me better business wise. So yeah, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to have kids. I was, I want to, I ain't even enjoy myself yet. So it's like,
You were still trying to go to Freestone, bro.
yeah, Freestone was lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really enjoy myself. Like, thinking about for 2, it was just it's a lot. Now you're talking about 3, and then the third person can't do nothing for themselves. Like, so I'm thinking like, yo, hold on, let me get some more time to myself first. Let me enjoy me waking up on my own, not no crying alarm clock. And, and that's why I got my niece. Thank God for my niece, because I could just put her upstairs. Like,
Like, yo, Uncle Tom is over. Come on. Let me call my brother real quick.
but yeah, it's important to know what comes with it and what you're missing. And if you don't identify what you're missing, then there's no room for accountability. Then there's no room for growth.
Yeah.
And I could be real with myself. Like, nah, I'm not ready. I feel like now I'm like 80% almost there, but I don't feel like I'm 100%. Because most people say you don't know when you're ready. I don't believe that, because it's like I can make a baby now.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. I choose not to, because I want to be emotionally, in a better position, and financially better position. And even with my relationship, I want to, get to know my person even more. So that's a whole nother, episode. But yeah, these are things I think about, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have kids, and I want at least 2. If I get 4, then we good. Like I'll build a dynasty.
Yeah, and I think and see, that's the thing that I really want entrepreneurs to take away from this episode, bro, is like, whether it's a small goal, whether it's a big goal, the big thing is you need to know what drives you, right? What drives you to that sense of fulfillment, but you just got to make sure you're setting the right expectations at each step of the way. And again, if you don't hit a target, if you set a target that you want to start a business and you keep setting a target, next year I'm going to start a business, next year I'm going to start a business. Why is it that you haven't started a business? You're not mentally, emotionally, or financially prepared, right? You got to keep growing, because starting a business is easy. Growing a profitable business is hard.
Facts. And bouncing back.
Yeah, and then most people, it's almost a blessing that business they want to start, they never start. Because to be honest, like what you said, they're not ready for everything that's going to come with it. And starting a business and trying to grow a business profitable, that will take you on an emotional roller coaster that, will make you not want to ever get on roller coasters again. So that's the reality in it, bro. So I think, what would you say, KB? So your final message, bro, to people that's listening, and as we're talking about small goals and big goals, and overestimating these targets, underestimating them, like what would you say to someone that's listening to this episode and trying to decide if they should set a small or a big goal?
I would say definitely set both. But when you set the big goals, and it's something I think I never really spoke about on our podcast yet. Reverse engineering is something I spoke about. So it's like, all right, if you want to make, $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month you need to know how many sales you need to have. You need to know how many you need to do weekly, how many you need to do daily, right? Everybody understand that math, but you got to figure out what is it going to take to even get those initial 10 sales. How many people you have to speak to, how many DMs you have to send out, how many emails you have to send out in order to even get that result. So, and also realize what comes with that. How much time is needed for that particular task. Who else do you need to reach out to so you can accomplish this goal? And I think it just, as we grow, the details get a little bit deeper, because everybody knows, like, all right, if I make 83,000 a month, I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do you get to that 83? How do you make that 83 consistently? How do you even, and also, are you netting that 83? Because that's grossing. It's so much to it, but the beauty of it is taking the small goals within that. Like, you know what? All right, I got this client. All right, bet. How can I serve this client? How can I make this one client out of 2 clients? This one sale out of 2 sales?
Yeah.
Then how can I continue? So it's a mixture of small and big goals. And my last thing is, don't just be a writer. Don't just write everything down. Yeah, I got it in my notes. I wrote down I wanted to do swimming for 6 years straight. And I tried to swim on my own. I tried to go on YouTube. I tried to ask people I know. I did everything but get an instructor.
Damn.
That was the first thing I was ready. Yo, I'm gonna learn how to swim. I'm gonna learn how to swim. And I'm like, yo, when did you ever reach out and actually pay somebody who's a professional to help you?
I mean, you paid a couple homies like $20 or something,
They didn't do anything. And it's like, stop being a writer. Stop speaking on, I want to do something. Just go to the person that will help you. If you have to pay, then pay. Because if you don't, you're going to pay in another way. I paid all those vacations. I didn't get in the pool. Everybody thought I was trying to be cool. I'm like, I don't know how to swim. All the time, this little kids swimming past me, doing all these tricks at 5 years old. Like, my ego paid for that. I could have paid somebody $200 a month, and now I know how to swim. But it took me 6 years to realize, like, yo, I'm not investing in myself. Like, that was my biggest goal last year for myself. Wasn't money, monetary. It's like, yo, I actually did this, and I said I was going to do it. So I think, yo, don't just be a writer and everybody want to write down 2024, I'm going to do this. No, actually do it.
Yeah, bro. And for me, when it comes down to setting small and big goals, I want to say this, right? As we record this episode, 2024 is 60 days away, right? 60 days. So what's crazy about that is when it comes to setting goals, it's a you need to have a hybrid, right? You need to set small targets to build your confidence so you can hit the big targets. But then you have to have the big targets so it gives you something that's going to motivate you to accomplish something bigger than you, right? And the biggest mistake I hear a lot of people say is sometimes they don't think highly of themselves. They don't think something is possible. But you need to make sure you have the right people in your circle, people that are thinking bigger than you, right? And always make sure the environment that you're in is taking you to the next level. Because every time I've set a big goal, even if I was a big thinker and one of the biggest, people around me that's thinking like that, there was always someone that was thinking a little bit bigger, and it always made me feel like, yo, Kim, you gotta go for that next thing. So what I really want to say is make sure if you set these targets and you write them down, like have the right people around you that's gonna let you know, like, yo, we could do this. And then if you fall short of the target, just keep growing. There's no target that we hit that the only thing that I've realized is that I just got to keep growing. And that's my main thing, man. It's like no goal is too big or too small. You just got to grow into it. And that's the only way you'll know if you hit it, is grow.
It's the infinite game.
That's it. And the last thing we want to share with everyone before we wrap things up is, remember, if you're getting value from our episodes, do us a favor and just leave us a 5-star review. That's what helps people know more about entrepreneurhood. And that's how we get the message out. KB and I, we're doing everything organic right now. So leaving us a 5-star review and sharing these episodes with people, it helps us out a lot. So we appreciate it. And we'll look forward to talking with y'all next week.
Get it.
Anyone can start, but only champions finish. Now that you've completed this episode, you're ready to continue your journey by connecting directly with our hosts of Entrepreneurhood. Follow us on Instagram at The Entrepreneurhood to stay updated with the community. For each episode, the first set of listeners to tag us on Instagram and leave a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing to get a free one-on-one coaching session on the topic of entrepreneurship with our hosts. Remember, there is no shame in struggling, because we fail, we grow, and we win. Right here on Entrepreneurhood.